Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected, find out how to choose an internet service provider, discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Hi, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I hope that most of you guys that are here already tuned in earlier to the video that I made. Yeah, that's right. I made a video. Round of applause for Paisley. Woo! What am I wearing here? Oh, there we go. There's cute again. Anyways, I really do hope that everybody is doing well, like I said. We did have a video earlier. Check it out. It's a good one. But we have some stuff to watch now. It's Friday night. I desperately want fucked. I desperately want fucked. I mean pho, the food, the soup. That's what I want. So bad. Anyways, Courtney knows. Courtney's on board. This case that we're gonna watch here, pretty interesting. I teased it in the thumbnail. They adopted a kid. You know, we don't often see cases like this with, I can hear the motorbike. I can hear the motorbike. It is a fucking outside. No, seriously, I want pho. Here's my pro tip. I like the broth, so sometimes I'll just order the broth. But I don't order anything to eat anymore these days, and so, alas, I'll have to do some research into making it, I guess. I don't know. Far a long, long way to go. See a needle pulling thread. I know the words, but you put it out of line. Anyways, before we get too far into me singing, which I know is going to be terrible for numbers, let's go to the case. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm just remembering a few different things. I videotaped like 16 cases this morning. Hi, Adam. So many, it felt like. So many. But this is the one we want right there.
Not appeared or will not be appearing.
Judge, just wait. Just give me a second, okay? Give me a second. Give me a moment. Let me make it big on top of my face. Also, update. Same straw. Haven't broken any yet. How exciting is that? So proud. Soon enough, I'll be able to give these an actual fucking 5-star rating. Oh, I better not get too cocky, honestly. Because I broke 2 other ones. I mean...
Hear a little bit about that from the state before we go forward by default. I think the state is bringing a witness. Ms. Jeanette Rodriguez, go ahead and announce yourself, ma'am.
Jeanette Rodriguez with the Office of the Attorney General.
Thank you. Let me swear you in, and then we might have to take care of some other business. Ms. Masuka, if you'd raise your right hand, as well as Ms. Rodriguez. Do each of you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, starting with Ms. Masuka
Yes, ma'am.
and Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm gonna let some business take care of. Okay, it's already taken care of. Great. So let me tell you a couple of things about my court, Ms. Masuka, before I get this Mr. Balderas involved. One is that I'm an associate judge. I've been appointed to hear cases filed by the Office of the Attorney General, their child support unit. As an associate court, we are courts of record. They don't assign court reporters to our courts. We have a digital recorder. That's the official record. So I make you aware of that. So all your answers are verbal, loud enough for the recorder to pick up and the court to hear. No shaking your head or nodding. That doesn't record. No ahas or ahs. You are in a courtroom. I need more formal yeses and nos. The other part of being an associate judge is that since I'm appointed, anybody who's in my court who wants to appeal any decisions from this court has the right to do so by going up high to the higher elected district judge that hears these cases. So you have the right of appeal. However, this is a default. You may not need to do that. I just want to make you aware of that's what I do and how that works. The second part of the recording issues is that you heard me announce we were live streaming on YouTube. It is a requirement that the courts are open to the public. That's been true for forever. We're open courts under our Constitution, so that when we were sitting in courtrooms, people walk in, anybody could walk in any courtroom that was open, or that they're all open, and observe proceedings in courtrooms. That changed when COVID hit. They set up the Zoom court as a way for us to keep conducting business. It took a minute, but they figured out that to make it open to the public, they set up the live streaming on YouTube as a way for the public to log in and observe courts that were working on the computer, since most of us were not in courtrooms anymore. That happened until COVID ended, and some courts went back before COVID ended. However, the child support courts were allowed since then by law to continue with Zoom. It was working for our program. People liked it, so we're still conducting business that way. However, we still have to live stream because of that. So I make a big deal out of telling you that we're live streaming on the internet, so you don't blurt out your home address, your social security number, your cell
Yeah.
number, something you would not want out there identifying you. Because if you,
Yes, ma'am.
I can't take it back. That's the whole point. The last part of the recording issues is do not record it, be considered in violation of our laws, subject to contempt of court, punishable by a fine and or a jail sentence. I've got the official record if you've ever needed it. I don't keep them forever, several years. Excuse me, but do not record, and that applies to everybody in this courtroom or anybody outside observing in. Do you have any questions or concerns about any of the recording issues, ma'am?
No, ma'am, I don't.
And do you consent to go forward on Zoom today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great, thank you. Mr. Valderas, let me defer to you to make an opening statement after you announce yourself and some background on Mr. Masuka's service and appearances or not.
Yes, Your Honor. Edward Balderas for the Office of Attorney General. The Attorney General's office filed this original petition in suit affecting the parent-child relationship for on November 6, 2024. The child in this case is Zayden Carlin. He's currently 10 years old. This is the second setting that we have in this court, Your Honor. The first time we had not been able to serve Mr. Robert Felix Masuka since the last setting in February. He was served in March. I've emailed you the citation return, Your Honor, for Mr. Masuka, and in that return, it shows that he was served with the original petition and notice of court proceedings for today on March 22nd, 2025 at 9:10 a.m. In Austin, Texas. That has been on file here in Comal County since April 11th, 2025 at 9 a.m. We did also send him notice by way of regular mail of today's court date with the Zoom ID number. That was sent to him back all the way back on February 27th, 2025. We also tried giving him a call at the phone number that we had for him, but we did not get an answer, and that was yesterday. And so we would like to move forward today, Your Honor, with the default order against Mr. Masuka.
Well, you've done everything required by the law and even used due diligence to try to get him here, but that didn't work. So I'll take judicial notice, but I will look at the email you sent to double check all the particulars.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any opening on the actual terms, or you just want to go forward by testimony?
Your Honor, a very brief opening. I think that Ms. Masuka's testimony will be with regard to most of the terms. However, I would like to call Ms. Jeanette Rodriguez first to testify as to wages so that child support can be calculated according to guidelines.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. State will call Ms. Jeanette Rodriguez. Ms. Rodriguez, who do you work for?
Office of the Attorney General,
What is your job title with the Office of Attorney General?
a child support officer.
How long have you been a child support officer?
23 years.
And as part of your regular duties as a child support officer, do you look up the income information for people that have cases in the child support courts here in Texas?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to do that for a Mr. I just want to make sure I got his name right here. Robert Felix Masuka.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me, from what you can see, does it look like he has reported income for the year 2024 and 2023?
He's got a full year for the year of 2024.
Okay. In 2024, do you know how much he made for that year?
For the whole year, he made $45,480.
And is that at the same employer?
Yes.
Okay. In 2023, can you tell me how much he made then?
For 2023, he made $12,843.78.
And was that at the same employer?
Well, yes.
Okay. And so, based on what you found here, is there any indication that he is no longer working at the employer he had in 2024?
It seems to be he's still at the same employer as at the end of 2024.
Okay. But we don't have any reported income for 2025 yet, do we?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. If the medical support in this case is anticipated to be $0 per month, have you calculated what child support guidelines would be based on his income from 2024?
I got $643.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Rodriguez. I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Masuka, you're here acting as your own representative, so you have the right to ask questions of any witnesses, cross-examination as any lawyer would. So do you have any questions for Ms. Rodriguez strictly on the issue of wages, reported wages, since that's all she has knowledge of?
No, ma'am, I don't.
And just real quickly, so the 2023 income wasn't the full year, was it the last couple quarters or even less than that, or?
It was the third and fourth quarter.
And you said the total amount was from the same employer, so maybe,
For 2024, yes, ma'am.
oh, no, for 2023 that I'm talking about, the third and fourth quarters, this employer or not, or was there a second employer there?
There was a second employer, but it was minimal.
Mhm. Okay. So then he stuck around and then the whole of 2024 looks like full time.
25K bill, a long ways away, but NPC gifting members, baby. NPC, amazing. I love you. We're 6 away from 2,500, which is what I think you meant, Bill. Somebody unsubscribed yesterday. I just want everyone to understand that. Somebody unsubscribed yesterday after we talked about it. So, a fuck you to that person. A thank you to NPC. A welcome to all the new members. And a reminder, please subscribe.
Time employment at that employer.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any aberrations or any big differences between the quarters as far as reported wages?
No, ma'am.
They're all about consistent. Great.
Oh my gosh. You know what, Miss Donna? Oh, and look it! Also becoming a member herself. First of all, thank you, Miss Orlando Chiquita. But you know, we should call you the queen around here. Mikey and Credence have their own king and queen, but I have you, and you're the best. And of course, we've met in person. That goes for so much. Thank you so much. As a reminder, this week for members only, we're watching the Axe body spray video from 2004. Oh my... Ah! Brian! You rock too! Oh my god, you guys, what a freaking awesome Friday. Ah! Oh my gosh. Brian dropping 20 and then Miss Donna with 5 more members. The queen herself. Seriously. Wow. I was just saying we are going to watch the Axe body spray 2004 video about Camp Touch. If that sounds cringy, I'm almost counting on it. That it will be cringy. We love cringe around here. And that's coming up for members only this weekend, Sunday. It'll be a daytime show. We're going to have brunch. A members only brunch. You can have a mimosa at your house if you want. If you could get glass straws. Love to the new members. Carol, love it. Thank you for 11 months of support. What a family we have here. And reminder, if you didn't catch the video I made earlier, go watch that as well. It's a good one, I promise.
Then I don't have anything further, Mr. Valderas. Anything follow up?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Then let me are you, Ms. Masuka, any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Rodriguez, you're excused, and I know you have other duties. So thank you, ma'am. Okay. Next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. State will call Miss Lori Masuka. Miss Masuka, with regard to Mr. Robert Felix Masuka, have you had any contact with him recently?
I have not. No,
No?
sir.
Okay. Do you know why he's not here today?
Because he has an issue with authority, honestly. I knew he wasn't going to show up.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. And so, how long have you and Mr. Masuka been married?
I think this July will be 13 years.
Okay.
I
And
believe.
has anyone filed for divorce?
No, that's going to be my next step.
Okay. With regard to your child Zayden, has he visited with Zayden anytime recently?
No,
Okay.
he's not heard. He hasn't asked for nor seen Zayden since 23 when I asked him to leave.
Okay. And when in 2023 did you and Mr. Masuka separate?
It was I believe was the last day of May.
Of May 2023?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And did he leave the marital residence?
Yes, I asked him to leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you stayed?
I did with Zayden. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that where you still remain now? Is that where you reside?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where he lives?
I do not know. I know he has a case out of Hayes County that he goes back to court on in July. And it was an Austin address. It is what his bondsman has. Whether or not that is where he lives, I don't know. Because I had messaged him not long ago, probably a couple months ago, and I said, hey, can we meet so we can just get it done. But I'm sure he has my number blocked. So I'm
Okay.
assuming he's in Austin.
And that case in Hayes County, is that a criminal case?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's for a criminal case for a DWLI. Mhm.
Okay.
And an FTA. He had an FTA out of it. So.
Okay. And so, what caused you to separate?
We had already been having issues with infidelity and with his anger because of the drug of choice he chose to partake in, because I had found it, cocaine. And so I found a second cell phone one evening. I came home and I asked him about it. and I asked him to show it to me, and he refused. And I said, okay, so whom or whatever is on that cell phone is more important than your son and I. And he says, well, I'm not showing it to you. And I told him, I said, well, I'm done. You need to leave, because it got to the point to where Zayden was afraid of him, because he would see, I always knew when he was coming off of the drug, like maybe he didn't have money to buy it anymore or whatever the issue was, because he would get so angry, and he would throw things, and he would be up for 24 36 hours cutting the grass at 10 o'clock at night, and I can't have, I won't have my child around that. I asked, if you ask Zayden now, because he's cried one time for him being gone, and that was, and I have a video of it. It was the first night where I knew he wasn't going to come home, because we were supposed to be working things out. And then I found out he was with another girl, so I was just done after that. But the night I told Zayden, he had a total breakdown. He was crying so hard. It was gut wrenching, and I will never forget that video. And I sent it to Robert, and I said, this is what's happening. This is what you're doing to our child. And no response at all. So he has yet to ever check up on Zayden. I would be surprised if he even knew what grade he was in right now. I know he definitely doesn't know what sports he plays and how
Okay.
good he's doing.
Okay.
So,
All right. Now, with regard to Zayden, did you and Mr. Masuka adopt Zayden?
we did. Yes.
And
Yeah. Mhm.
when was that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He is 10. CPS placed him, did an emergency removal on him out of Temple. He had a black eye when Temple PD took him. And so the case was out of there. CPS placed him with us. And that was a couple months right before, it was in September, and he turned 2 in December. And then we went through like 2 years of, trying to get the biological, person who had him to do what she was supposed to do, and she never did. So her rights were ultimately.
The biological person. Yeah, there's a few red flags that are popping up for me here when you mentioned that you videotaped your child when they were crying. It was alluded to that she told the child that the dad cheated, but maybe we just misinterpreted that. And the silver eyeshadow. It's just a red flag for me. I'm just calling it like I see it.
Terminate. Well, she gave him up, so she can have other kids. But that was 2 years of that. So the adoption was probably 7 years ago.
Okay.
6 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. As a result of the adoption, does Zayden have his own medical coverage?
Yes, he does. Yeah, he's on Superior through Medicaid through the state, and his college is paid for. So.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when it comes to the issues of conservatorship, are you asking to be appointed as Zayden's primary managing conservator?
Yes.
Do you think that's in Zayden's best interest?
Definitely.
Do you believe that Mr. Masuka should be a part of Zayden's life going forward?
If you ask me today, do I think he has earned the right to do that? No. Do I think that Zayden should have his dad in his life? Yes. But that's going to be all dependent on Robert and his actions.
Do you believe that Mr. Masuka would intentionally harm Zayden, either physically or emotionally?
He's always intentionally, emotionally, and verbally harmed us. Like, he's always done that intentionally. And that was one of our issues. Would he physically harm Zayden? I cannot say with 100% certainty, no, he would not. Just because I've seen the anger he's had when he is on his drugs. I don't know if he's still doing those or not. So.
Okay. And so it sounds like from what you're saying that he's more likely to be verbally abusive than he is to be physically abusive.
Yes.
And how would he emotionally harm you and Zayden when he was around?
Zayden, it got to the point to where Zayden was afraid to ask him anything. Like it's always been Zayden and I, and it got to the point to where Zayden was coming home, and if he spilled some milk, he would kind of cringe and get scared because he knew what Robert's reaction was going to be. It was never going and physically hitting Zayden, but it was definitely very emotional for the both of us because he would like throw things and, do things like scream and yell and slam doors and, stuff like that. So
Did he
that was
did he do that stuff before he was before he was abusing drugs?
no, no, he
No.
didn't. He's always had a little bit of a temper, but nothing to the extreme of when I started finding the drugs. And then I kind of started monitoring his moods, and the mood swings, and then, he would come home angry and I would tell him, so like you're not on it right now, right? You're coming off of it. And that's when he would get so angry, is when he didn't have it in his system, I guess withdrawals or whatever. But up to that point, he was never as bad as he was when I told him to leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to visit with Zayden, do you want the court to order that the visits be supervised?
Yes, definitely.
And specifically, are you asking the court to order that the visits be supervised on the first and third Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m., supervised by you or a competent adult that you designate at your residence?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any concerns about safety? It being, if the visits are at your home, do you think that'd be okay with you?
Yeah, I don't think that's really a concern. And,
Mhm.
and I'm saying this just because I know we have to put something in court order. Realistically, Robert's not going to see him. He's not going to ask about him. He's not going to. So I don't think that's an issue I'm ever really going to have to worry about, But having him here at my house would be fine. Or if we agreed on like a public place, McDonald's or something like that.
What would your
Um,
preference be?
I think Zayden would be, I think he would be more comfortable in a public place because,
Okay.
This is his home. This is where he feels safe. I think if Robert were to come here and visit him, I think it would be Zayden wanting to stay on his, on his Xbox or something like that. It wouldn't be an actual, I'd have to force Zayden to interact,
So,
and the purpose of a visit would be to interact with one another.
so then what public place do you think would be good?
Um, McDonald's.
Is there one close by that would be good for you?
Let's see, there's not much out here in Canyon Lake. I want to say there's a McDonald's. I guess to make it easy, just like there's a McDonald's in New Braunfels.
Oh my god, she
Um,
says New
I don't.
Braunfels like Mikey says Gatlinburg. I think it's New Braunfels, not New Braunfels. But maybe I'm wrong. Who the fuck would I know? How the fuck would I know? I'm Canadian.
Know what the address is. I want to say it's on 306.
Is it close to
Um,
the freeway?
it is. Uh-huh. Yeah, there's like an HEB, um, the McDonald's, there's like a car wash place.
Okay.
It's Yeah, it's like a real busy little area right there in New Braunfels.
Okay. I don't. There might be more.
Yeah,
Is it
I
on
know.
Walnut? Is that the one on Walnut?
Um, I'm not sure, but if that's one that you show, then that's fine because they're all next to each other. So
Okay. And I would imagine there's other ones too. Just kind of
Yeah.
looking at McDonald's and
Yeah.
examples.
I don't think they just have
Um,
one or McDonald's line after
But
line.
okay, let me see if I can find a.
They talk
Okay,
about
there's
this
another
for a
one here.
minute.
Closer to Loop 337.
Mm,
Would that be easier for you?
that's fine. Yeah.
And there's another one,
Oh,
close
Lord,
to
look at the
Green
judge.
or
Oh, yeah. So that might be the one that I'm thinking of.
close to Bucky's. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the one.
All right,
Mhm.
then I got it then.
Okay.
Okay. And HEB, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to have the visits on 1 to 4 on every first and third Sunday, from 1 to 4 p.m., how much time would you need for him to give you a heads up so that you could have Zayden there at 1 o'clock on that day?
If he would just let me know by like, 10, hey, I am gonna be there or I'm not gonna be there.
Okay,
know?
10 a.m.
Yeah.
on that Sunday?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
Saturday.
Sunday.
I'm sorry.
It's
You broke
Sunday.
up.
I'm sorry, I wrote down it's Sunday. Okay.
Yes, Ron. I may have said Saturday at the beginning, but Sunday is what was contemplated.
As he gets older, he might have activities on weekends and sports or whatever.
Yes.
I'm sure you maybe don't want overnight notice so that you can tell him.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, overnight notice would be good. Yeah, because Zayden plays soccer and basketball and pretty much everything.
Hopefully on Sunday you won't be occupied. I was thinking it was a Saturday, but still, maybe
Yeah.
have a little more leeway.
Yeah.
By Saturday, what time? Advance notice by Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday what?
Saturday afternoon. Hmm.
By 1 o'clock, so that'd be 24 hours.
Yes.
Notice,
Mhm.
roughly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And
Okay,
then
ma'am.
CYP has
And
a
so-
channel where, because CYP is one of the most gifted people we have in the chat. Actually, I'm going to grab my necklace to show it off. It doesn't look very good with this outfit, but I'm going to show it off anyways.
Is this what you prefer to have the visits be like, going, all the way to when Zayden's 18, or do you think that they can progress to day visits at some point?
I think they could progress to day visits.
Is there a certain number in mind of visits that you'd want to have supervised before going to the day visits?
I would say probably like the first 10, maybe. See how the first 10 go.
Okay. And then after the 10, the day visits, what time would you feel comfortable they should be at? Should they remain on Sundays or should they be on Saturdays, or what do you think?
Probably on Sundays. Yeah, because Saturdays usually when his games and stuff like that. But on Sundays would be good.
Okay. Could you pick them up in the morning and drop them off
Yeah.
off in the
Mhm.
afternoon?
Yes.
What time to what time?
What is usually like 8 to 6? What's
That's-
usually a standard visitation on Sunday?
There's no really standard one, but
Okay.
8 to 6 is totally fine. 8 to
Mhm.
5, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, anything
Okay.
around there.
Yeah, I think 8 to 6 would be good.
Okay, Zane's gonna be awake and ready to go. You're not gonna have to force him out of sleep.
No, I'm gonna always have to force him out of sleep, but yeah, he'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, do you believe that day visit should be where it should be? Do you believe that it's possible to go up from there to overnight visits, or do you
Yeah.
think day visits is kind of what you want to keep it at?
I think it could progress to overnight. I'm about 99% sure Zayden won't do that. So I think it would be a matter of asking Zayden and see
No,
how
we're
he
not gonna
feels.
have to ask the child. Why don't we leave it at day visits and within your discretion? If the child is willing and y'all can work it out, you can send them
Okay,
for the weekend, 30 days in the summer, all that stuff.
okay,
Leave it on your shoulders to decide that,
okay.
if dad's gonna walk through that door at all or not, but
Yeah,
yeah, or at what
yeah,
point. So let's leave it there as the last step.
okay.
Okay.
Second step. Total.
Okay, Ms. Masuka, with regard to child support, according to Ms. Rodriguez's testimony, and from what I could tell, I calculated child support would be $643 per month, and I think that's what she calculated as well.
Okay.
Are you asking that child support be set at that rate, which is the monthly child support guidelines amount?
Yes, please.
When it comes to back child support, I went ahead and calculated a retroactive child support amount of $12,256 since June of 2023. Are you asking for that amount in retroactive judgment to be assessed against Mr. Masuka?
Yes, please.
And when I calculated that amount, I had asked you how much he had given you directly since you two have been separated, and how much had he given you directly?
300.
$300. Okay,
Mhm.
so for the court's information, Your Honor, that 12,256 number includes a credit for $300 that he had paid her directly. The state is asking that if a judgment is granted in that amount, that he be ordered to pay that out at a rate of $120 per month, every month beginning May 2025. Are you in agreement with that, Ms. Masuka?
Yes.
Okay. So then I think that's everything I wanted to ask you about with regard to conservatorship, visitation, child support. There's the issue of medical support. I think we talked about it briefly, but the state is asking for $0 in medical support because of Zayden's adopted status and his own coverage through his own plan, government health plan. And so I believe that's everything I wanted to ask you about as far as the terms of the order. There's some other things here, for instance, non-disclosure. It sounds like he does know where you live. If your information, your contact information, address, phone number, if that was in the court order, would that be okay with you?
That's fine. Yeah.
Do you plan to stay there for the foreseeable future, or are you planning to move anytime soon?
I'm struggling to be able to keep the house, so I'm hoping to be able to stay here. It's just
Okay.
financially, it's really, really hard right now. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to save it.
I see.
But my intentions are, yes, to stay here. Yeah.
Okay. There's court costs associated in this case. The state's going to recommend that Mr. Masuka be the one responsible for those court costs. Do you have any objection to that, ma'am?
I do not.
Okay, then I think that's everything, Your Honor. I'll go ahead and pass the witness.
What kind of work does he do, ma'am? What does he do for a living?
He's done all types of handyman work. He's in armed security. When I had asked him to leave, he had just started a job at I think it's Austin Wrench Apart. It's like a pick and pull place in Austin. And then he was also working at a bar at night, doing security there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's not gone off the deep end where he's so addicted he can't work or hit mom?
So you know what? I'm surprised for him to have had a whole year of 2024 wages like that. That's surprising to me. Just because that was one of the issues I had. I couldn't get him to work. I couldn't get him, I couldn't get him motivated, and then it got to the point to where I thought he was working but he wasn't coming home all night. And then the amount of money he was helping us with the household, it ended up being me just paying for everything, with my job. And that's just too hard, I was a single mom, but I was like caring for a grown child also. So yeah.
Do you have anything of assets or value from the marriage that you're going to be asking for in the divorce, or y'all don't really have anything?
So we don't really have much. I know that when he first left, we told each other we were going to try to work it out, and his car had broke down, and so I knew he needed, another vehicle. So we went out and we looked, and I found just a little Jeep Compass or whatever it was. Anyway, so we bought that so he could have that in order to go to work and stuff like that. And that was with us being separated, not living under the same household, but we were going to try to work it out. But then I found out that some girl was driving it. And it was I bought it because I signed everything before he got to the dealership. So it was in my name, So I went and I took it back when he was at work. But then it ended up being totaled. So I was going to try to put something in there to where he's partially at least half responsible for that vehicle. Um, you know,
Well, that's,
but
I'm just trying to
part,
figure, it's some personal stuff, but not really assets, like you're not buying
oh,
that, renting the home, you're gonna have to,
yeah, no, I'm renting it. Yeah.
okay. Sometimes if there's some assets to divide, and I feel like I'm taking away from the divorce court the ability to divide stuff if I just
Yeah.
proactive, but if there's not much going on in the divorce part,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
mind.
The only thing we have is Zayden.
Okay.
So
Okay. Did you hear anything that you did not agree with?
no, I did not.
Okay, the only thing I might add to the visits is that you've told me about it, that I usually put in a generic restriction about no drugs or illegal substances
Hmm.
in 24 hours or during a visit. So
Yeah.
you would have the right anyway, but to put it in writing, so that he shows up drunk or drugged, you can't
Yeah.
should kid anyway.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Okay, and then if you, that's, visitation is the only part of the order that allows you to figure something else out, tweak it, change it,
Mhm.
if you all agree. But I try to tell people the order says one thing. If you're not going to abide by it, if you let the kid go, you probably
Mhm.
didn't write it and have him sign it. Because when
Yeah.
you cops and says he's supposed to bring the child at 6 and he says, no, it's 6 tomorrow or 6 next week,
Hmm.
you're gonna know, and they might not be able to help you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
If you figure it out, do something different, write it down on the visitation part. Everything else you need to come back to court to modify.
Okay. All right.
Okay, did you have a closing, Mr. Balderas? Not really, since I think I've heard everything, haven't I?
I believe so, Your Honor. I can summarize what the state's requesting if you like.
Sure, go ahead then.
Your Honor, the state's requesting in this case that Ms. Masuka be appointed as the primary managing conservator, that Mr. Masuka be appointed as a possessory conservator, so that the joint managing presumption is rebutted. And she is the managing conservator, and he would be the possessory. State's recommendation. The state's recommendation on visits would be every first and third Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. at the McDonald's located at the address we had stated earlier. On the record, as long as Mr. Masuka gives Ms. Masuka 24 hours advance notice by way of phone of his intention to have the visit on that day. And if he doesn't give that notice, then the visit be forfeit. After 10 visits that in that supervised fashion, the state would ask the court to order that it be day visits from 8 to 6 p.m. Again on the first and third Sundays of each month, again with 24 hours prior notice, and for all visits to have a 24-hour ban on alcohol and controlled substance consumption, at least 24 hours prior to and during all visits with the child. With regard to child support, the state's asking for $643 a month in guideline child support to be set, $0 a month in medical support to be set based on the government health plan, and a retroactive child support judgment in the amount of $12,256 for a judgment, and $120 a month payment on that beginning in May 2025. The state's asking for no non-disclosure order, and also for court costs to be assessed against Mr. Masuka.
Okay. Okay, I won't repeat it, but I will grant then render the order by default against Mr. Masuka. And I did see the citation. It does support your rendition of it. So I'll default them. And the state's going to draft the order, ma'am, send it to you by email. Anything coming in from the Office of the Attorney General. It's this order, so consider it priority homework to open and review it, sign electronically. If you see any questions, if you see any errors, especially, you call the AG and resolve them. If they don't hear from you by a week, well, by next Thursday, I ask them to turn in the order on Friday without your signature. It's
Okay.
now that I've heard the testimony, I've ruled and rendered, so I can that you. However, I'd much prefer if you reviewed it and signed it.
Mhm.
Well, and I get it quicker that way. Okay.
Okay.
You have
Yes,
any
ma'am.
questions at all, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Then that'll be the order of the court, and let me let you go, and then I'll turn.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank
to
you.
all, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
That lady talked the whole damn time.
And Ms. Masuka has exited the virtual courtroom. That'll conclude
she
this
has.
hearing. Let me stop my recording, starting with.
Starting with the YouTube. She started with the YouTube. She started with the YouTube and turned it off. I'm tired. Do you see me yawning here? Rude. Fucking rude. But it's time for me to go. I have been so grateful to all of you and amazing gifts tonight. Keep an eye out because members only is on Sunday. We will be back tomorrow too. I'm a glutton for punishment. I just fucking love it. I love it. But keep an eye out for videos too. I'm working on that. I managed to do one today. It's not just a pipe dream. I did it. I did it. Go leave me a comment on it. It'll make me so happy. I love you guys so much. Do me a favor. Remember that. I love you and I'm proud of you. And I will see you in the next video.
Wisdom ready to ride.